Right. Okay.
Exactly.
As far as some of the misconceptions, some of the problems, so to say, that people have with Islam currently, stuff like the headscarf that the women have to wear,
Yeah.
stuff that the women are oppressed in Islam, men are allowed to have 4 wives, um, you're not allowed to eat pork. People have this understanding that Islam limits you so much that there's no fun in Islam because everything is not allowed. Everything is haram, as they say. Um, what has your experience been since, I guess, before entering it with maybe some of these understandings or misconceptions to after you entered it, after you learned a little bit more?
Yeah.
How have you adjusted?
Well, I think one of the essential things is you think with a lot of those prohibitions that everything, first of all, is forced upon people. But, I mean, as is said in the Quran, there should be no compulsion to religion. And I know
Absolutely.
some people who are, like, very observant, and I know some people who are not observant at all, and I know people who are observant conservative or observant more liberal, and there's a wide spectrum. Not everyone is the same.
Now, speaking about the whole women being oppressed mainly, because that's the one main thing people say about Islam when they want to dog on Islam, about how Islamic women they can't drive,
Yeah,
they
the
can't.
women are oppressed. It's an inherently anti-woman religion, that sort of idea, which is not the experience I've had. I've talked to women who have converted, and I was on a local university had an Islamic Awareness Week, and there was a panel discussion given by a number of converts, including myself, and I was the only guy on that panel. All the other 5 or 6, were all women, and I don't know the specific statistic, but I know as a fact that of all the Americans who have become Muslim, the majority are women. So, I mean, that should be enough to start you questioning what you're being told about how it is against women or oppressive. I mean, so many women, again, just as I found my peace through here, they've found their
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, statistic I've read on Americans is 20,000 every year. I don't know women. I have heard. I've heard as high as 1 out of every 4 is a man. The other 3 are women that convert. I think women that do truly want to look into it realize that the limitations that Islam puts on you are not so much limitations, but as are ways of protecting you. For example, the biggest thing that comes to everyone's minds is the headscarf, is the modest dressing, the fact that you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, if you look back just 60 years into Christianity,
Catholic Church, women always had their hair covered. And you look today, nowadays, and say a lot of, not necessarily the reforms, but a lot of the conservative and Orthodox Jews, their women do, either in services or in their daily life, still also cover their hair. So,
which, again, my view is biased because I've been a Muslim all my life. But to say that 60 years ago you had to dress this way if you want to be a nun, now you are allowed to dress this way. Who are we men to change the religion of God? Whether it be Christianity, Judaism, any religion out there, who are we to change that? If you change one word of God, you're no longer following the religion of God. You're following something that resembles that religion, but that you've modified. The Quran hasn't been changed. The religion hasn't been changed. The things that are there are to protect you. As I was talking about the headscarf, the modest dressing, if you look at the statistics, if I give you an example, if 2 sisters are walking down the street at 9, 10 p.m., midnight, and they're walking around in a back alley, or they're walking in some alley, one is covered, dressed Islamically, and the other is dressed according to the modern dress code, which pretty
Rather
much you don't have to
provocative,
wear
yeah.
anything. Which one is more likely to get molested? If they're twin sisters, which one is more likely to get in trouble with men? Which one is more likely to get respect from men? If I see a woman that is dressed modestly, I'm not gonna start shouting at her. I'm not gonna start disrespecting her.
Because that woman has, like... Because I know a lot of women who do dress the other way who are modest in behavior and such, but I mean, it is...
Absolutely.
The scarf it's an external indicator that this is a woman who has who has good moral standards. So
Absolutely. I think the scarf has gotten a lot of bad rep,
it has.
and therefore a lot of women or girls that do want to take that step because of either because of parent pressure, because of family, friends, relatives, because of the media, because of work, school, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, I think if we kind of step back and just look at who Allah is and who God is, and if He tells you to do this and He's looking out for you, I don't think there's anything else. We don't need to go any further because you put your faith in Him. But I mean, that's one example, and every misconception, every bad thing people say about Islam, I think once you actually start digging deeper into it, it's not going to take long at all to read an explanation on that. And if you are open-minded, it's going to make sense to you.
Yeah. Also, what we've been saying with talking about how people often complain that, oh, you can't do this in Islam, you can't do that. A lot of people view these as sort of restrictions, as like chains on your freedom. But the way I've come to see it is that the way a lot of people act nowadays are enchained to their desires, their physical desires.
You're a slave to your own desires.
Exactly. And like you're a slave to your desires, and these chains that your desires put on you keep you from reaching out to God. And through religion, like, you can help break those chains that these desires have on you and reach more towards the divine and get to a better spiritual state of being.
Because it's not all about what you desire. I may go to work and I get off at 5 p.m. If I desire to leave at 12 or 1, or if I don't desire to come in at all, it doesn't make it right. I have to be there from a certain time to a certain time. Islam, by telling you certain things that you have to do and certain things you are not allowed to do, it's keeping you in line. It's just keeping you in a straight line. Because then you can, like you said, you can attain true peacefulness and you can be happy because you're no longer a slave to your own desires.
People have this perception that all these things that you go do, that will make them happy. And a lot of these misunderstandings that people have are based on, like, I mean, because that is the situation.